Well, hello. Hello, ladies and gents. This is Jeff with Final Boss. We are going to be reading Edenhollow tonight. This is one of 667's works, and I'll also be taking a look at the Chod Father's amazing work. So get excited, get hype. This should be a night of fun and adventure. So without much further ado, I'm going to jump into Edenhollow, and then we will go through that. I'll try to get to the end because it's been a long time since I've done an edit. So yes. So yes, I am a little bit behind. Alright, anyways, a Dance of Lights. So this is an outline. So I don't normally edit outlines, but in this case I decided to take a look. Travels to Grayscape to complete an assassination as a drifter. He finds a target and is able to kill him using the power of his Onyx Stone. I think I've actually read this intro. Onyx Stone twice in the process. Target's an old man. Narrowly escapes the hands of a mob brought on by his foolishness of telling a fake story. Slashes the man's throat and leaves back to the forest to sleep for the night. Finally quit the Drifter Guild. Okay, a lot of info. And obviously this will be different in your story. Yeah, so just make sure it does not overshadow your characters. Whenever you have a fantasy world, I feel like, everybody runs the risk of having so much stuff happen and, blah, 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 and then, and this is like so much world building you're putting in, and this is the, tiger who has 10 teeth and a blah, 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 and then eventually the reader doesn't have a character to latch onto, so it feels like it doesn't have that same level of depth as a normal opening. So one of the risks of fantasy is starting with a lot of data. So just FYI there. Oh, hello, 667. Welcome. Welcome indeed. Okay. Celestial's Will. Silas wakes to the clown of a massive bear in the woods. He finds a young man named Merrick who's in trouble. This is the same guy. Merrick tells him he wished to become a drifter and somehow guesses Silas's name. Silas ignores it and makes way for the guild house. So one thing here is this feels like our MC is passive. Our main character Silas is passive. Something is just happening to him. Consider having this kid interrupt an active scene where he has a goal. So one of the things is if you're introducing a new character, one thing to, especially if it's like, oh, I stumble on this random person, what am I going to do? One thing to keep in mind is try to still give your hero a goal in that scene, your main character a goal in that scene, something that he's striving for, and make the introduction of the new character an obstacle, is to retire and have his own home in the woods. But that's a overarching goal, if his motivation is to retire. But the scene goal is, what does he want? Maybe he's trying to buy a house, and he's trying to buy this house in the woods to live in, and he's negotiating with this guy to get this house, and this kid comes in and is like dragging all this trouble behind him. Who knows? Something worth considering though, because like you said, even though there is these big overarching goals, you still need that scene goal in every scene if you can for your main character. Silas receives a cryptic reading from a matron of the guild that refers to his past in which he betrayed the son of a dwarven king. Okay, she knows Silas will quit, but she says, and the rest of the matrons must leave as well. Someone bursts into the guild hall. A strange woman with children enters a storm outside and speaks of an attack. Silas is not convinced. The woman gives him a weird smile. Drifters make way to the south, and Silas finishes his meal before running to his usual observing spot. Silas spots a band of horsemen, as well as a lord and his men approaching. When he reaches the south wall, if your district, except one has been killed, a small band of horsemen with horns are slaughtered. So I'm not sure what drifters are. And so it seems like they're like these kind of assassins. It doesn't sound like they're homeless. Homeless people. Okay. So yeah, I would make sure that's clearly established. I'm sure it probably is in your work, but the outline feels like it's missing a little bit of these details. Spots a band of horsemen as well as Lord approaching. When he reaches the south wall, every drifter except one of them has been killed. Silas reveals that his brother is the king of the Water Valley. Okay. Silas Swellen. Who is Swellen? Is this the kid? The unnamed kid? Is this the unnamed kid? Oh, Swellen of the family. Okay. Oh, I see. Apprehends Silas and kills the other drifter. What about this kid? Finds young Merrick. Where's Merrick this whole time? Okay, so he goes back to the guild house. I guess he's following him or something. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure where Merrick is. Okay. Walter wants something to do with him. Angry that Cyrus has left long ago. Walter brings Cyrus to the arena to show him that the arena has a group of dwarven slaves. Cyrus is too furious but tired to do anything until he rests. Walter provided a place to sleep. Cyrus walks on the ground and discovers the games have started. The dwarves are matched against the soldier. Walter with the blade and is pushed off the balcony into the arena. Okay, so it's a cool scene. I'm still trying to figure out why Silas cares. I thought he just wanted to leave. Why is Silas himself? Yeah, what are his motivations? Okay. He stops at old outpost Wandermere, old man staring at him. Severely scarred. He offers Selwyn help in his task. So Selwyn wants to take over the throne? What? So that's new information. Reluctantly agrees and reaches Rapper to find blah 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 blah. Okay. Completes another day of training with the Sun Dancer. She's able to use Onyx Stone to magic to win the bout of a doppelganger. She tends to find Lord Selwyn at the Weeding Tail. Selwyn reluctantly accepts the matron's proposition to escort the young girl with him. The matron tells him that he will accept her. He killed before he could even reach whatever. Selwyn spends the day in Rockpur, and the young finds out very little about her. She's clever with a sharp tongue. Just be aware that this kind of this clever, witty chick, with potential magics is a common trope. Perhaps evaluate. Yeah, to see if that's a choice you want to make to play into that. Oh, I'm behind. Oh yeah, the kid is gone. Just in the woods. Silas leaves him to get to Gotham. Oh, so he ditches him. Why does he care about which parts? I don't know if that could be. It's okay. Wives are never nagging. They're always encouraging. What up, Fallen Clown? Welcome. Welcome. That's okay. Family is first, so stories are just make believe is second. Urk is a jerk to Houston, disagrees with someone's decision. Someone tells Urk to keep an eye out on her in secret, and okay. Bag of emeralds. Okay, the sect. There's a lot going on, and I don't know if it's going to play out differently in the story, but it's pretty tough from this outline to get a sense of the purpose behind the threads. And, the one thing you really want to think about including in your outline is the motives and the, details. Give us some of the motives. Like, what are the motives? I know Selwyn, wants to take over, but, how did he suddenly... I guess he's wealthy, I guess. It's established that he's wealthy up here, but then, why does he need this dude to get emeralds to carry? Retrieves a bag of emeralds to carry to a plan that the sect told her to do. How does this contribute to his becoming king? Yeah, how does this make him more likely to become king? Anyways, she gets to her feet in an area, gets to his feet, and both the dwarves and the soldier attack. He yells at the dwarves that he's on their side, but is careful to keep his cloak hiding his face. The dwarves are scared. I take the word, and Silas kills the soldier. The crowd goes nuts, and Walter sends more soldiers to kill Silas and the dwarves. Silas uses Onyx and the dwarves, and Silas run out of the arena. Most of the dwarves are killed. This one seems like a fun set piece. But wondering, if he's so good at killing people, why he didn't break out of prison when he was captured. Because he's in a crowd of people. Why does he care about which part? Okay. Mm-hmm. Carry out a task. Okay. Yeah. I would also just ask, this is a really cool set piece, but the fact that he can bust out of this arena filled with people makes me wonder, how he was captured, down over here. So just food for thought. I know you probably have answers for all this stuff because, this is something you've been working on for a while, and I know you've already written this out. Yeah, but just questions to ask. Okay, so Hurston is a small polished emerald in Swollen's bag. Travel on horseback. Swollen describes his plans, tries to get more information out of her. I like that goal, but good goal. But this scene feels like it could be heavy on exposition. Beware. Does the sect told? Yeah. Does the sect holds her and how great? Okay, she mentions magic. But someone is wholly against it due to the drifters and their antics. Someone reports to the city of Uttar and is surprised by how much has changed. Convinces someone around to allow her to lead. And they meet up with a fisherman. Hurston takes Selwyn and she's able to convince him via magic, but Selwyn doesn't believe. So I'm curious as to whether, we want who do we want? Who is the antagonist? and protagonist. And I know you're gonna, probably say, but I want to see someone make a moral, immoral decision. Yeah, because to some degree, I feel like this initial Silas guy is the antagonist. He's the only person who's like randomly killed a guy. So Selwyn, he's seeming like he has a antagonist goal, which is to take over the kingdom. But to some degree, he has people helping him. I kind of got the sense that Kristen, this chick, was kind of a good character. So this good character is helping him, volunteering to help him. And all these other things are kind of making me wonder who the antagonist really is. To break out, he basically uses his hand, uses magic. Everyone is great, good, and bad. Good guys in their own stories. Okay, well then I do want to start seeing some. Yeah, I mean they are good guys in their own stories. But I want to start seeing a sense of opposition bigger than the scene. There's no big goal really emerging, and we're like, if this is representative of your story, we're 10 to 15% in. We're 10% in. But I kind of want to see the need of the world taking shape, the bigger arc. And maybe this is something you're going to want it to be more Game of Thrones like, where there are these kind of smaller stories that build together. But the thing in Game of Thrones is even in the beginning he had like a suggestion of the bigger arc, which was Jon Arryn's been murdered. Something has disrupted the norm. I'm not really getting a sense of how the world before has been disrupted, besides the fact that some of these guys, got killed, but that seems to be kind of a occupational hazard of being a drifter and like randomly murdering people. Yeah, but I'm really starting to look for how is the world before, how is the, stasis world, the world where no change has happened, where's the break? Like, how has the world become set on a path of irrevocable change? I'm looking for the break from stasis of the world here. What's the event that sets off the snowball of, action that leaves the world forever changed? I think that's going to be a big question. What up, Talion? Welcome back. I have a suggestion. Have a group of horsemen attack the Grothmer and kill all the drifters. So maybe play up the horsemen as a bigger deal. Yeah. And their motive. So, like, if that's important, there should be a sequel or a follow-up around that moment where where Silas is like, oh my gosh, these drifters had information. Where's the information that they had? Or, who he should be looking like. He doesn't really give it another thought from this outline. Small band of horsemen with horns are slaughtered there. Okay. Silas kills the other drifter. Okay. So, they all kind of get wiped out, but I don't understand the significance of that. Highlight significance of this, murder. And the one above, and the one above. It's always is shown. Oops, I'm a little low. Shown through reaction. What Silas's reaction tells me how important this is. So the fact that Silas is just kind of like, oh, I got captured, I'm just going to go and get captured, and then it's hard in outline to represent this, so that's like why I take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But the importance of a plot event is measured by the reaction all the characters give it. It's sort of like when you're, at a circus and everyone's looking at something, you're going to look over there too. So make all your characters look at something and we'll start looking at it too as something strange or unique. My balmy day left me. They sent fiery doom my way. No, the doom, the line they are shot as a huge deal. But yeah, makes sense. No, I know that from the outside. Yep. Okay. The next night, a group of 4 makes way for the outer gate. They've got a problem, but Silas can't help but feel they're being followed. Yeah. So at this point, I'm trying to. So Merrick pops up again. He can't find him. Walks up and plays his lute. He's joined by Silas. Okay, so when did they connect back up with Merrick? Alright. Oh, I see. They find Merrick, who has stopped at the farm himself. Okay. Merrick wakes up to play his flute. He's joined by Silas, who explains, a bunch of people died. Merrick is heartbroken. Why does he care? He was rejected. And these guys don't seem all that nice. It's not like they're not someone to be mourned. These people who the only experience I've had with the Drifters is they murder this old guy randomly. That's a bit of a dark thing. Okay, he wants to plan a breakfast. That's nice. I need to get a goal at this point. I need, now that Silas has escaped, what is his plan? What is he going to do to respond to the murder of his friends? Food for thoughts. Food for thoughts. They are reversed type thing because Merrick wants to be a drifter. Huh. They are reversed. Interesting. I guess that he misses them because they rejected him, or he really it's I want to be part of the cool football team, but I would still be sad if the football team was massacred. I get that, but it seems like that seems like an extreme emotional reaction. It's hard though. I mean, this is an outline, so take whatever I suggest with a grain of salt, because you can't really tell what's going to work and what won't until it's on the page, to be honest. The next night, the group of 4 make their way to the gate. They get out with a problem, but Silas can't help but feel as though they're being followed. They head straight for the neutral zone. Okay. Merrick suggests they stay at the outskirts. They encounter a giant. He can understand. So the biggest thing that's coming to me is they seem, especially Silas, to be very reactive. They encounter, they get out, they feel as though they're being followed. These types of things feel reactive. Yeah, so I don't want just random, and then maybe there is something, but I don't want random events to just pop up and have to get dealt with. And the only time that works is if I'm already going for something and it interrupts me. I want interruptions. They're we gotta get to, let's say in Lord of the Rings, we have to get this thing to Bree. We gotta get to Bree, and then what's happening is there's all these Dark Riders stopping them on the way to Bree, in Lord of the Rings, in Fellowship of the Rings. But he's not just sitting in Shire being oh, there's Dark Riders coming, I better hide. He has a goal before the Dark Rider obstacle comes in. So that'd be something I would just suggest. Okay, end of an era. Milik discovers he can understand and speak to the giant. He convinces the giant to let them go. Yeah, so they admire the statue. Matron Gemma joins the council of whatever. So again, this is somebody. I don't know if I've met Matron Gemma before. Have I? Nope. That's the first time. This is feels like it's late. Feels like I had 2 POVs for a long time, which is Silas and the other guy that has the name with S, which is always confusing, Selwyn. A POV coming in this late feels odd. And that's your call. That's going to be more of a thing. Also, having characters with all the same name, all the same first initials is hard to remember. She's joined by the matrons from around the realm who are called together to discuss the fate of the realm. Okay, they want to devise a plan. But none of them can. When some other person I don't think I've met before. Oh, wait, no, he's up here. He speaks about how great Arsh. Okay, so it seems like these guys are the bad guys because they're like bosses murdering people. Okay, good to know. Oh, yeah. That's just good to know. There's a first scene in the scene with someone too. Nice. Okay, maybe the name didn't come up. Maybe I was looking at Gemma. I should be just looking at Matron. If that's from a matron, this is matron from. Let's just make that matron Gemma. I'll put this on suggesting. One thing that also helps in outlines, and they do this in screenplays, and that's why, is whenever a new character is introduced, do it in all caps. So I would almost just do matron Gemma. Yeah. Okay. Speeding up to where I was last. Okay, cool. Okay, so they all massacre them. Sorry, matrons. Plan. Okay, Gemma conjures a spell that binds Arahara, and she escapes with the rest of the matrons, 4 in all. So, okay. Spell that blinds him. Okay. Find the city we're building. I don't know why these. So the fact that this guy, I'm sure there is some significance to the fact that this guy is coming in and killing some people. I know there is some significance to this person's arrival, but the only goal I know from his side is Selwyn's of takeover. Does he share the same goal? It seems not. In outline, at least give us his goal, usually. Okay, and the peoples, they sneak away and find a camp. Man, I didn't realize, okay. Someone's curiosity gets the best of him, used to convince the fisherman, takes out the largest emerald and shows him how to use it to influence people, but purposely leaves out the side effects. Pulls a stone. They arrive at Shaneza, and someone finds it to be changed a great deal. Okay. About the emerald. As instructed to do so by the sect. So how do we know this? Are we in Selwyn's POV? And you should start asking yourself these POV questions. POV, or are we in Kristen's POV? Yeah, who is the view into this chapter? Are you going to be doing an omniscient universal POV? Very hard to pull off. I would encourage you to look at doing close third person. Mlay Turner, welcome, ahoy indeed. But Selwyn doesn't know it. Ah, yes. Plans to use Selwyn to help him, but Selwyn doesn't know it. So Selwyn's a pawn in Azradash's game, though I still not sure what Azradash his goals are. So remember, these goals, the POV, the reader, especially a POV character, we need to know. So the fact that, you know, this Kristen is giving him a stone, knowing she's holding back the side effects, she should be making inferences and saying, I bet the sect, my bosses, are trying to manipulate him in this way. Great. So, like, through Kristen figuring out what her boss's plans are by the instructions they gave her, we, the readers, can also figure that out. So it's good that she's a POV character there. Hopefully that will cast light, and I think we really want to start casting light on what Azradek wants. Okay, in the party's house, Merrick and the two dwarves, they nearly encounter a group of untouchables, but are able to hide. Okay, cool device, but again, this feels really reactive. They wake off the set for the capital city. You know, why? Merrick discovers more mysterious powers with the small creatures who he says are talking to him. So Merrick is like suddenly hallucinating. This feels new. They saw him turn away. So Merrick's ability to talk to the giant was magical and special. Did not realize that. And unique. And this is something that you can bring out in the story, right? Is say, okay, I think it's an outline. Yes, I am editing an outline. Mooncloud's wife. Welcome, Leigh Turner. Treat Mooncloud good. To explain that. Okay, so what are you editing? This is a short story. There's a lot left out. But this brings up a good point about writing in general. And that is to say, whenever you're doing world building or whenever you're in a new word, the reactions of the other characters are critical. They are how you define normal and not normal in your world. So if something happens and all the characters are like, holy crap, this guy just talked to a giant, what the frick is going on? Then we, the readers, know, okay, this is not normal. Noted. Like, so those types of things are critical in terms of setting up that a person is special or setting up that a person is unique. The reactions, it's like in comedy, the straight guy and the crazy guy or whatever. Like you have to have the normal comparison. You always have to have the normal comparison. What is normal in this world? What are people scared of? Is this considered demonic? Whatever these people think. Okay, the dwarves look familiar figure who betrayed the king's son. Explore the city looking for food. I'm still looking for a bigger goal here from this storyline. The celestial who told him when she was touched with some energy about the untouchables. So the thing is that tells me that he doesn't have a goal is he's investigating stuff that happened to them on their journey. Like he's like, oh, we ran into these weird guys. What's up with that? Instead of saying, hey, I'm trying to get to the kingdom. Tell me about the king because I want to know if I can influence him. Like, so that's a big difference where the fact that his, investigation time is spent on a, occurrence on the road suggests the lack of a strong goal he'd investigate or instead. And yeah, well, interstate, whatever, you'll figure it out. Sorry, it's the free edits. I don't clean up my my notes as much. I'm just kidding. I have a migraine, fingers stupid. he's at work. I don't have any control of that, but no problem. Well, that's awesome. Well, do you do any writing, Lee Turner? Are you a storyteller as well? I'll write that down to help emphasize stuff. Sorry, his goal is his reason to retire, like I said, and that's all he wants. Well, that stuff works, but yeah, I know what you're saying. A visual storyteller, that's awesome. I do art. That's amazing. That's my girlfriend also does art. She streams her art on the Foxy Lady. I think if I go like this, it'll pop up some paintings. There we go. That imager there is hers. But yeah, I think the thing that's risky about a hero like that is that stuff has crossed Silas's path that like seems pretty like obviously wrong, or like pretty like hey, like, you know, this guy that captured me wants to take over the other kingdom. The world is going to be in chaos. So it's a little bit less believable that he would still, even though like he has enough information to I assume know that something is going to break the way the world is because of this stuff. And you know, it's really tough to pull off a completely passive character, because what it's going to come down to is, I would ask you, the writer, well, why don't, you know, he's going to get interesting when he starts doing stuff. Why don't you just wait until, like, just cut to when he starts doing stuff? Why do we need to see him be, you know, usually a character is passive for maybe like 2 scenes. What I would really encourage you to do is find another character with that arc of going from passivity to being active. It's a arc that's been used before. It's one that's common, but it is really hard to pull off. So just look at that timing and say, okay, how many scenes, how much of the book is the character in this state of lassitude, and how long does it take to push them out? And we're getting close to halfway. You know, we're about like page 5 here out of 13, so I feel like the lassitude is going to make me be like, well, he doesn't care, so why should I care? You know, if the hero doesn't care, why should I care? You know, that's the big question most readers will ask when they encounter something like that. Right now I'm working on me emotes. Awesome. Do you do streaming as well, Emily Turner? That's pretty cool. I have to give you a follow. On Writing Excuses, the podcast. That's true. I totally agree. But my one encouragement would be look at the way it's been executed before. Like, check a there you go. There's your follow me, Turner. But there are here. I'm trying to think of a good character like that I've read recently. Oh, who's a good character that I read like that recently? You know, Kaladin in Way of Kings, but like everyone hates him in the beginning because of that. Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. Maxilium is very passive at first. He's trying not to be involved. But he also still has scene goals. So he's like, I don't want to be involved, but I have to get married. Like, you know, so that was actually Alloy of Law. See how this guy does it. Because in Alloy of Law, you're right, he doesn't have the main story goal. He's not like, he still is like, I don't want to be involved with this part of my life, but with my other part of my life, I still got stuff to do. And then we see the part that he's avoiding influences stuff. So, like, for example, you know, he used to be a sheriff, and he quit. He put all that behind him. He's no longer a sheriff. He doesn't investigate crimes anymore. And then but then he's like, you know, a wealthy landowner now, and he has to get married. And so that's his goal. Is he's like, okay, I gotta, you know, do this marriage contract, and I'm having all this trouble with it. And so you see him working for something, and it's very concrete, which is to get married and fix my house affairs. That's a very, very concrete goal. So settling down is a little bit too vague, I would say. I think he needs something. I need to buy a house. I'm going to buy this house in, El Cerrito. I'm going to live there, whatever that looks like. I would really push you towards making that, avoidance goal something really concrete. Yeah. So it's funny that you mentioned that 667, because that's exactly what happens in Alloy of Law as well. Is he does his last job where the person he's doing the job with gets killed, and he's like, "I'm never doing this again." And then it shows his return. I'll definitely probably be working on this for a long time. Well, I'm glad you got us in at the ground level. Ground level is something big. I think this is awesome. I think this is I think you have a really well-developed world. I think I've read the first chapter of this, and I remember that, like the semi-valuable jewel magic system of opals and emeralds and stuff like that, or onyx. And I thought that was like super cool. So I think you have a lot of really good raw material here. But remember, the world building is only a shadow compared to character and that really compelling scene goals, having a character want something every single moment of your story. Hard to do. I have scenes in my novel where I write no goal in big letters on the top of my, I can probably flip through it, so there a lot on the top of my paper. I'm like, he has no goal in this scene. Why is it here? So yes, don't worry. You're in good company, or if you can consider Final Boss good company. I mean, that's one of the reasons I write on stream, just so everybody knows how much of a freaking pain in the butt it is and how much time it takes to make something that is really hitting on all cylinders. Group meets the settlement without Silas knowing. They recognize and apprehend them. Ooh, trouble. Silas's stone doesn't work and is taken away along with his weapons. Okay, that seems significant. That's cool. Okay, so cool. New information there. Brought before the leader of the rebellion. Silas has everything he can. They explain the devastation, the murder, and they throw them both into the hollow. The straw is thicker than blood. The chief female. But yeah, I think Alloy of Law, I would really recommend reading that. It seems like a very similar arc to Silas, but that's awesome. That means you can take the devices he's using and make them work. But just ask every single scene you read in every story, who wants what in this scene? Who wants what in this scene? That's really, really a helpful way to build that foundation of just thinking in terms of goal, obstacle, goal, obstacle. Yeah, that's a good idea. Don't turn back now. If you're writing, just finish the first draft. Go fix it all in the second draft. Okay, one of the matrons is killed. Gemma adjusts her new body, trying to find the other matrons. Okay. They come up with a plan to possess the chief and the guard. Possess. This seems like I thought this was only attributable to possess. Didn't realize possession a potential. Let me just remember to set up a power before it is used to save a hero. Yeah, so like possession is a very, very valuable skill, mind control, stuff like that. But remember, I haven't, and maybe I missed it, but I have not seen that as a potential power before. One of the matrons is killed, and Gemma runs outside and uses her last sentence to stab herself in the heart with the power of the onyx. She attempts to possess the chief, but loses focus as a soldier strikes her. The next thing he possesses a scarecrow instead. This seems almost a little seems a little like silly and macabre. Adjust to a new body. So it's just like some walking scarecrow. Yeah, so I would be curious to understand the rules. Can she walk? Can she talk? Has there been any other example of this? So yeah, these kind of things, like possessing an inanimate object feels a little bit like, from what I understand of your world, granted limited, I don't feel like that's possible as the reader. So I would say make sure those rules that you've set this up from early on, that hey, someone once got possessed in something and that sort of thing. Turns out super dark and scary. Yeah. All right. I know, but this just the ability to possess. It's like the ability to possess doesn't feel set up. It feels like it comes out late. And then also the fact that she jumps into a scarecrow feels unset up. I would just set this up. Set this up that this is possible. Maybe like, why don't the matrons in that massacre, all of her friends get killed earlier? Why didn't her friends, why didn't all the other matrons possess inanimate objects when they got slaughtered? Those are the types of things that make this harder to believe in terms of the magic system, which is like, hey, there was a situation where possession would have been useful previously, but this doesn't feel like it's adding up as much. I'm like, so why didn't they use it there? Or like, what are the rules? Chef picks up a scarecrow and ties it on her back. Gemma knows, okay, it's the matrons. Merrick and Silas find themselves in the hollow. She explains what it is, and they find lone pale folk. Sound strangles it with his bare hands. Whoa! Shots fired. What a jerk. She was in a special cult. Yeah, she was. These matrons were kind of this group. It seemed to have possess these pretty extreme powers. Whoa! YOLO! Why? This guy doesn't care. So this is making me not like Silas very much. So I don't like Silas. I've seen him do two things. Whine about not caring, and killing innocent people. So I hate Silas right now, to be honest. And I know, maybe this is what you intend, but I feel like it's my responsibility to give you the data. But the two things I've observed about Silas is that he just recklessly murders people. Are goblin type things. Okay, good to know. Was that set up before? Okay, let's find out. Oh. Okay, 10 occurrences. Nope. That's the first mention. Okay, set that up. Groups of pale folk overpower them, but Merrick is able to speak with them. Merrick convinces Deadlighton that the others let him touch them. Let him touch them. What? What does that mean? And no, this is an outline, so I'm going to have more extreme responses in outline form because, you're only given the bones, and I know a lot of this context is in your head. But yeah, I would, I at least don't remember having seen the significance of this. What, power of touch? What happens? No, I don't remember seeing that. Okay, they brought Pale Folk leader. None of them recognize Silas. Why should they recognize him? Need to set up why they would recognize him. I mean, so far, my thought is that their experience with Silas is, he also helps out a family, so they like him. Oh, okay. So they like him, yeah. Yeah, he saves the dwarves. That's true. He has to touch them to talk to them. Yeah, I see. Okay. Leader looks similar as dwarf and reveals Silas offers him to escape. So then he ends up helping these guys, even though he outright murdered one. That seems like if there was even a possibility that they would be good. This makes his initial murder seem all the more careless. That they are actually cool guys who just had a language barrier. Like, whoa, 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 like, you know, I just don't speak freaking English. Come on, man. All right, Ulrich finds him in secret. Okay. He invites her to the grove for food to comfort her. So why is he cool with this? Why is he cool with this? Thought Ulrich was on Selwyn's side. Why is he cool with her betrayal? This feels like a betrayal because she's doing it in secret. Okay, now he becomes angry and attacks her. He ends up like, but food? At the grove? Let's have food. She ends up using her magic and takes him to the brink of death. He tells her that he is Lord and Salem is actually his bodyguard. Tristan tells him that he's seen her true magic, so she has to kill him. Also that she was only using the animals to protect him for payment from his magic. Kills him and uses multiple block and drag him into the sea. Returns to find someone looking distant. He can't find Ulrich, looks physically shaken about it. He asks the elders. Ooh, it's a Princess Amidala. Switcheroo. With the fury in his eyes. Just unclear. Okay. Oversees the construction of a massive crystal grid using mining onyx. Meets his advisors. Leads to the volcanic fortress. Remember, we need an obstacle here. Obstacle. We get his goal, which is to build a grid, but this isn't a scene until something blocks that goal, creating conflict. So yeah, it's good that we're getting this information, and it's good that we know that he wants to build this thing, but it's not a scene until there's conflict. It's not a scene until there's an obstacle of the goal to the goal. And I have to hold myself accountable to this all the time, so don't worry. Most were infantry. Addressed instance for concoction, tells the commander that the rest of the army must be willing to take the substance in battle. Oh, not confront. Confront. Is that what it said? Oh, gotcha. I just can't read. Resolved. Who have been tossed in the hollow in lack of light. Okay. Oh, the initial one attacks them. Gotcha. Take his word. Okay, they fight the child. Okay, second. Oh, there you go. Pale folk and dwarves and sunlight. They live for first life in the hall. That breaks us. Already vows to help them get free. Yay! We kind of have a yay. But you know, still, this doesn't relate much to the overarching. I want to see his. Yeah, I kind of want to see his journey and goal start to mesh with the world conflicts you've set up at this point. Because this is a great goal. He wants to save these people. That's awesome. But where does that connection happen? I think that's what I'm looking for. Looking for. They take him to a strangely shaped chamber filled with jagged rocks. He decides to find Silas. Oh. So apparently they must have really long lives, because I feel like this sunlight thing wouldn't have that. Convince him to come escape because it was too late. The only way you can rectify Silas agrees with him because he wishes to leave the hollow. They gather all the pale folk, join the coldest chamber, tells everyone to dig their weapons feet into the walls and ground. Massive earthquake happens in Merrick. They fall nearly off the side of the cliff and hold on for dear life as the Leviathan they've been inside flies away across the mountain range. So they've been inside, so they've been in the belly of a monster. So the hollow is a creature's orifice. So they escaped like through. Am I reading that right? I might be mistaken. So pretty much they were in this. So Edenhollow was they were in this. They were in this animal apparently, eaten by it, or the hollow was they were eaten by it. But the way they got out was they find a opening. They dig through it. It sleeps for a long time, hibernation. So I'm afraid to ask this, but did they escape through its butt? Did they like crawl out? I'm a little confused. Maybe that's just the outline, but I would clarify that because that feels kind of mouth cool. Then how did they go in? Did they go in through the same way they went out? Because I thought they were like fed to it. So like this made me think, okay, well maybe they were like fed to it and they couldn't escape the hollow because they went into its digestive tract or whatever. But it doesn't sound like that's the case. But yes, worth looking towards. Someone head to Raptors told person. Keep up with her feeding of gems. The madness of emerald magic. And the crystal grid. Wait, I thought it was just an emerald. I'm a little confused at this concept because I thought the grid was a larger construction as mentioned earlier in the A chapter. Just using that same term twice is a little confusing. He instructs Tristan to reach out and to enslave the people. So Spoiling goes off the deep end and just like enslaves lots of people. The Leviathan roars overhead and a dwarven commune made of iron. Pale folk find a cave and will not go anywhere near. Anywhere the Silas reacquaints himself. Anywhere near their old home. Most strange ways of the dwarves and their topaz stones. He looks for any onyx but finds none. So is he bound to onyx? I'm guessing that's I'm guessing he can only use a certain type of stone. Making a gigantic grid to power more stone than any other. Okay. Okay. I would just clarify that. Or just, I mean, I know in the outline is the outline, so whatever, but I would just make sure that that is really sharpened up. Thomas tells the Thrain that he's leaving. He's given horses and supplies. The three untouchables That's the best one he likes to use. Okay. Alright, I may go accelerate a little bit, because this is definitely longer than the average edit, because it is not... let me see how long this would be normal formatting. Times double spaced. So this would be like 20 pages normally. But whatever. That's okay. I'm gonna move my crap, or just chilling. Merrick tells him he needs to go now. The nameless horse of Eden. Silas approaches, apologizes to Merrick. When Silas tells Thane that he's leaving, he's given horses and supplies and one of Thane's best warriors. Silas tries to get him to come to a truce with the men. Tells Thane to the Leviathan. Okay, yeah. 3 untouchables, right to the 3 untouchables. I still don't think I, the reader, have gotten the explanation. I don't know if I've gotten 100% the explanation. I'm still trying to piece that together. Honest is the best that he likes to use. I see. So he's looking for his like specialty thing. Chief sits down a scarecrow mate. The scarecrow matron raises her sword to strike at one of the guards. Only one of the guards cares. They kill each other. Gemma and the chief are able to get along. So the other matron's and somebody else now before they reach the outpost. Raises her sword to strike at one of the guards. Cares the other ignores. They kill the other one who's supposed to do something. Oh, I see. Okay, so I remember blood was kind of a thing that is an idea to use children as lapis lazuli. Gemma the scarecrow only comes out at night to try to lure. So I like this ending. But it feels like an odd wrap up. Is the narrator going to come in and give us this information? I'm not super sure. I would just clarify how we're going to get this data. About like years later, Gemma the Scarecrow only comes out at night. That would be an enormous POV shift and one that would be distracting. Gemma is the POV. I agree, but jumping into so we've never had a flash forward yet in your story. This is immediately after. Okay. Well, you may have that envisioned in a way that I'm having trouble to do so. Not like years later. Okay. Selwyn uses the army of raptor riding redheads. Whoa! What? I didn't realize dinos were part of this world. Feels like a sudden addition. For a pterodactyl, he changes of his family. Whoa, that feels intense. Especially there's a diff between mythical beasts like leviathans and dinosaurs from the Earth's history. So yeah, I would really wonder at that. It changed those just to creatures and wolves. Okay, yeah, good call. Good call. Okay, reaches the city. Okay. Selwyn is confused at their praise, but ignores and accepts hospitality. Finds Selwyn and instructs her to kill the girl before reaching. Wait, Azra finds Selwyn and instructs her? I thought Selwyn was a guy. Isn't it him? To kill the girl before reaching Rappateur. He doesn't use topaz because it's like a drug. This is regret, and Dwarf promises to do except K. Yeah, it feels like we haven't. This is getting pretty late in the story. I need a core storyline at this point. Like what is the core storyline? Where is this headed? I need a little more info. Feels very episodic. Yeah, it feels like we're jumping from episode to episode, but I'm having trouble lashing onto this big through line. Like, what is the log line of this story? What is the log line of this story? Selwyn Sachs wrapped her with the troops. So then this guy's gone crazy. He's amassed this army. But then our other characters, Silas is not even involved in this. So I do wonder a little bit at his... Oh, I'm getting tired. I've been streaming a lot today. It's been a streamathon day. She finds Dragonair among the slaves, and they reunite. She explains what happened, and they confront her. The Shadowrun decrees. Gemma continues to collect blood until she thinks she has enough. Oh, I see. So she's like going collecting blood from these kids. Okay, she advises against possessing the prince because he's needed to command battle, and Gemma doesn't know who she should possess instead. Then a scarecrow is killing children and germs. It tries that she can change possession in an instant if needed. She finds an able-bodied woman with beautiful hair and attempts to possess her, but fails. She is stuck. Comes to an untouchable matron guard once more and says she's unable to leave her scarecrow body, but feels no pain. Guard unstuffs her and puts her on like a cloak so that the angry mobs don't know where she is. She can be stuffed again later. A lot of rules and a lot of exceptions. This feels like a very flexible magic system where, has she just possessed the cloak? I would really try to lock in has he just possessed the cloak? I would try to lock in what this is really going to look like in terms of what's possible. Like, what's possible? I feel like the rules of what's possible in this world have not settled yet. Like, and it was a little too late. Like the rules of what is possible in this world are still up in the air, and this is a little too late for that. Remember, constraints are good. And I do this in my book too, so don't worry. Constraints are good. How can you use them to advantage? Establish those rules early. Silas American the Dwarf. I'll find named Steed. They told an army, okay. So yeah, so they're glittering isles. They find a horse. Okay, so this seems like so different from the other story. This feels like it never intersects with the other story of Selwyn. I don't see anything changing in this plot line because of the events in the other. And, you have, Selwyn capture them in the beginning, so I do know that, but, when Selwyn gets a freaking raptor army, there should be impact. Somebody cruising around on freaking raptors and on a pterodactyl, there should be some sort of impact in the present world. Like the whole world has changed. Silas and Merrick should be able to experience that. Like they're pursuing a horse. Find dryads who protected a horse. Maybe I'm misunderstanding exactly what they're doing. I want to read this novel. I know it's good. And feel free to let me know if I need to slow down so you guys can catch up. I know I read quickly. But I want to make sure that I have enough time for Chodfather's first 10 pages of his story. Everyone is bolstering armies. They sort of have a Silas American story, kind of like Frodo. Okay. How do I think about that? I see what you're trying to do, but I think the unity that made Lord of the Rings successful was they all started in a fellowship, so they were all together. And all that branching battles in Lord of the Rings were just outcroppings of the ring goal. Like, so the ring goal, the goal to get the ring to Mount Doom, sprouted all these other ones. Like, one of the battles was just to distract Sauron while Frodo snuck in. So to some degree, that level of connection, or that level of both these stories, at least emerging from a single goal or a single purpose, I think is going to start to become really necessary. I would just rack your brains for a few days about just, okay, how can I merge these two? How can I join these two stories? How can I make them really either mirrors or some sort of connect, like what's the connecting tissue between these? Because I feel like it just from this read, and maybe there's more, it feels very, very absent. That's true, but there should be one primary conflict. I don't think you need to have clear lines of good and bad, but think about Game of Thrones. It's all about who is going to be in control at King's Landing. There are a lot of gray area there, but the one constant question that every character is asking is who is controlling the realm? Who is going to own the realm? Who's in control? And you have lots of ambiguity, but that is that single plot question, and that is also a much more advanced story to tell. So you're already shouldering a lot by doing a story of that style, but like, what's the central question that can get answered in this story? What is who's going to win? Who's going to be king? Who's going to build the biggest? Who's going to have the most control over the magic system? Because this guy is building this big crystal lattice. Those are questions that I would ask. What is the one thing that everybody is about? Because if it's more than one thing, it just starts to get distracting, and then the reader has trouble knowing which one to care about most. Should I worry more about the raptor army? Should I worry about the guy building a crystal thing? These guys going on this journey don't seem to have very much to do with these other plot lines. And they seem to actually all be not really operating in tandem. They all kind of seem to be operating independently. So those are the questions I would really start pushing you to ask. And you're in your first draft. You don't have to figure it out now. Just write your darn first draft. Get it done. You're already 50,000 words in, which is fantastic. But when you get to that second draft, and while you write your first draft, just know that that's a question you may want to really start considering in terms of how you're going to answer that. I'll be right back. A little bio break. Okay, I return, ladies and gents. The story's not good versus bad. It's that people think they're good when they might be gray, have two sides. It's true. It's true. All right. Silent Willow, welcome. Long time no see. I hope you are doing well. I'm excited to hopefully get to. I'm starting to go through my queue more proactively. I had to come to. I just got to start doing some edits. It's been a while, so I'm excited. I'm looking forward to getting to your work and the work of others. Okay, Merrick uses the emerald and gold he was given to be able to convince Latin because he's the only one to communicate with it. Okay, so he has like a extra combo power. These types of things are good. This could potentially be really awesome, but you need to establish that mind control comes from speech. Or maybe because he's using the emerald, right? So the emerald I always associated with mind control. Maybe I'm mistaken, but Silas goes full speed toward the Shroudlands alone. Alright. We missed some chats. AFK? AFK, what? Oh, okay. You're heading off, Talion? See you in a little bit. She's like, are you AFK? I'm like, no, I'm still here. I'm still here. Okay, joined by his loyal matrons. Okay, so he has some matrons on his team. Walks into the street. Stops at the moment. It might be rebuilt and scolds them. Explains the process he is working on. He will use the largest amount of onyx stones ever gathered. Okay, holds a stone in his hand and screams in pain. It's so hot. He places it in his satchel and climbs to the top of the volcano. The warwords begin. And arrows begin to fly. Sylvan's army camps just outside. Sylvan ignores all the strategy and leads his forces straight into battle. He's too mad to win the battle with Go. Okay, so then he goes crazy. The dinos do well, but do not even close. As they should. So they get their butt kicked. Okay. The battle. Do all in their power to help, but it's not enough. Fatal unit fighting. Not sure what that exactly means. Think of something crazy and interesting to happen for this battle. Yeah! I always like seeing the writer's notes to self. Think of something interesting to happen. Okay, we're here. We're getting towards the end here. I feel like the guard joins for the character moment for Melik. Reaches and wreaks havoc. Later, MLE Turner. Thank you for hanging out. Hope you enjoy the show. Get some rest. Silas reaches the Shroudlands where he used to steer the fog. Okay, body goes limp and Silas throws him into a volcano, thinking he's killed Azareth. Whoa, so he just like popped up here? How did he get here? I never really understood that they were both heading to the same place. Maybe I missed it, but I never connected that Silas and Azadeth were heading to the same place. Might want to bring this up. This seems very, this currently seems a little surreptitious. Okay. His body goes limp. Asas throws it into a volcano. The horse goes out of his, seems to get a mind of its own, but it leads to, so that Asas isn't worried, although he becomes more confused as he goes, lost in thought, forgetful, etc. He's in his head. Okay. One that is shown being in the novel that I didn't mention. Oh, okay. Cool. Confirmed. I put ice in my water. Well done. Well done, children. Well done. 1 minute later, and it's already almost gone. That sounds terrible. That's why I don't live in Australia. Is lost at what to do. She didn't save her city, but she's afraid that she failed in sex. She finds refuge. I'm gonna say you're going for refuge, not refuse. She finds shit when, yeah. Okay, she witnesses that they're using the blood of children for magic by the king. Walter in the house. Valerie is killed instead. Kristen, okay, so this is Kristen's POV. Silas flies to Grothmer to find the battle is still raging. Whoa. Okay, Merrick atop the Leviathan warns Silas that something is wrong with the nameless steed, for he's speaking now. So they're all riding these like magical creatures. Possess the horse using an onyx stone, and is prepared with a giant crystal grid. So he's in Silas's horse? Silas has gone mad and is confused. Whoa! Uses such a powerful onyx. I didn't see him using onyx. I didn't see Silas using onyx. Okay, Silas and Walter. It seems like a little chaotic. Okay, Silas and Walter falling out. Dwarves unite to save the day. Okay. Merrick focuses on the nameless horse, but the Leviathan is having trouble in the wind. Gets struck by lightning. Silas sees Merrick as a threat. Silas falls from his horse. And he goes up at the beginning of the book. Okay, Silas and Walter are falling out before Walter dies, finding the children and killing Brother Hurston. Resulting of the dwarven clans, even the pale folk. At the end of Silas, he keeps a title as Osprey. Merrick with a cloak and emerald is a drifter. Finally, is the end for Merrick, appointed by Silas, who is part of the kingdom's official guild now. The new name for drifters, Mother. Kristen hears his voice call for her after battle, but it's a scarecrow who tells she has much to explain. Okay. Cool. Good story. I like it. I really like the world. I think the thing that is roping me in is the world building. There were 10 cubes. 30 is good. This is all foreshadowed extensively. That's what they all say. Write it down or you'll forget. Alright, Shodfather. Did I read this one already? Wonderful. 10 double-spaced pages. I'm going to make a copy of this so I can edit. Alright. I like reading in times, and I like reading in 12. Double-spaced. Look how much easier that is to read. Ah, so nice. The reason we are handy. So often authors say they put something down, but when someone else looks at it, it gets confused and raises a red flag. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, I could agree. The outlines are just, just that. They are outlines, and that's totally okay. It's part of the process. And so it sounds like you've put together a lot of this stuff in your head, but I do think the structural issue that I still feel somewhat strongly that it's emerging is the need for a central goal, a central plot question that all these things revolve around. They feel like three separate stories that sometimes touch each other and sometimes don't. I don't know if that is maybe that is resolved as you've been getting into the writing, but that is something I would just be conscientious of as you go through your drafting. But overall, great work. It was a really fun read. I've read a few outlines. I've enjoyed them, and that was a good one. Saber Dance. In the isolated island of Draconium Imperium, fall set in. Fall began to set in, and it was time for the grand selection. It was time for the harvest festivals, celebrations, and chants of each group of youngsters. Oh, wait, I read this one already. Yeah, I read this one already. Yes, I've read this one. Okay. Okay, cool. I'm actually going through my queue. I just forget I've done it. Wait, I thought I read it. I could have sworn I read this already. Hold on, y'all. We gotta do a quick fact check here, guys. Did I read this already? Tripping, man. Oh, yeah, we did. We did it in the world building podcast with Dan. Thank goodness I was right. Or the bully who's been... Their happiness was short-lived. Okay, so we did. So if you want to see the edit of this, that is right here. Boom. Page 2 of 18 in the outline and 50,000 words? What? That is a lot. Holy macaroni. Well, I wish you the best of luck. That's crazy. Let's see. Here's the Chad Fathers thing. There's the Chad. Here is the overview. There you go. So great. Chad Father is done. Look at me. I'm done with all my priority edits. You know what? I wanted to take a look at who's next. Mr. Oldie. All right, I'm getting down. I'm getting down to the bottom of my thing. You know what? I'm gonna do this flash fiction. I'm gonna go to bed after because I'm tired. I'm tired and old and grouchy and mean. That's me. So I'm gonna do this flash fiction, the one that Brandy sent in today, just because it's short, and then we'll wrap that up, and that'll be the day. Darkness in the Blood's story. Darkness's story. All right, here we go. So we're gonna make it nice and properly formatted times 12. Actually, the proper is Courier. Courier is actually the best one, but I personally like Times. So. All right. Okay, I'll admit. I pickpocketed some rich slaps, swindled a few swindlers, held an ace up my sleeve while playing cards with the fellas. Hell, I even killed a few people, but boy, when my time comes, All I ask is that God let me die like a man. Okay, so it's a good intro. I like the, oops, if I could type. I like the voice in this intro. So I think you're coming in with a strong narrative voice. You're coming in with the character. Later, Talion, have a good one. Take care. Hasta luego. A bullet right in my head, put there by some lawman or some lucky devil. What outdraws me? That's how Pa went. That's how I want to go too. Well, God must not be hearing me right, because the old hag has been trailing me for months. Pushes a swinging double doors on Rosie's spirit brothel open round street. Ye doggy, you should see her face, redder than a wart on a hog's ass. She's wearing the usual garb, long black dress. So I do want a little more scene description here. I want a little more scene description here to place me in this world more. After your first paragraph, take a moment or two to sharpen, to expand the scene. I.e., start on a close-up, but you should So it's just like in film. Stories are very similar to film. Darkness in the Blood up here does a great job, and a commonly used technique, of starting on a close-up. You know, like when you start the movie and it's like someone's eyes and they're like, like, you know, something like that. And that's what this does, is you're starting with this character's voice, you're boom, right in the moment with the character. But one of the problems with that is you still need to eventually give the reader the establishing shot. You eventually need to zoom out and say, okay, we're in the Wild West, but this, and I think what's happening is this person is being pursued by some sort of witch. Black wimple wrapped around her hair, swinging low. But you still need to give us that, like, you know, it's Tuesday, the sun is up, town is burning hot, you know, whatever that is. And you give some of that here with her dress, but I do need some more. That's right, Dog of the West, the baddest, saltiest gunslinger in all of Texas, is being pursued by a nun. I thought I was safe, see, having just changed towns again. I did my best to keep myself low and not draw any attention. This Bessie is quick as a rattler. So much easier to read. Like this. Finds me in the brothel. POV is slipping a little bit, so the POV feels off. Since the character is addressing the reader, you know, the reader in past tense, then talking about the scene in present. I would just do a tense pass on this. I feel like there's some polishing that could be done there. Can't say I'm not a little bothered that she stalks in, gun at the ready while I have whiskey in my gut and the most darling redhead Leela in my lap. Oh, merciful heavens. Didn't I raise you better, Jimmy? Howdy, Ma. I tip my hat and smack Leela's bare cheeks to get out of the line of fire. I'm a little out of sorts at the present. I wonder if we could start with this. This feels like really where this, you know, this feels like where the story starts. Feels like the story starts here in scene. I feel like this is such a great conflict that you might want to just start in scene there. Consider it. You don't have to. I feel like you have a good start as it is, but That may even tighten up the springs a little bit more. This is madness, Jimmy. Speaking the old lady voice. But I'm gonna set you right here and now. Asked her weird. That's so. Her blue eyes crinkle, and it is what I've ever since your pa done forced himself on me. Well, I ain't never been pure since then. It's not how I was before, anyways. So this is beginning to be a little bit explanatory dialogue. Explanatory dialogue. Beware. Whenever a hero talks about something that, or a character that both people already know without reason, it feels a little on the nose. So I think that's okay, but there should be a reason. Just like your pa. Bring it into the scene and be like, and she's like, you're just like your pa. Him, he was some creeper that forced himself on you. I pay for my women. And then, they have a dialogue. Make it about the conflict. They can both talk about it, but she can't expositionally give it to them. That's a bad example, but that's more what I'm, getting at, is that you can get this information across, but just look for that non-explanatory way of doing it through conflict. You're just like your dad. He was you're saying, I didn't force myself on her. I paid for her. Doesn't matter. Sin is sin. Whatever she says. Not how I was before, but I've done my best to care for you, Jenny. That's what the Lord asked of me. That's what I did. I gave you food and shelter and taught you His blessed word. You used to be so good in those days, yet here you sit, being just like your pa, right down to your filthy heart. This is personal. I like this bit. This is personal. I like the personal insult. Like this personal insults. The disappointment. This is an emotional beat I can relate to. So by giving me this little bit of relatability in their conflict, everyone's had a parent that's disappointed in them. That makes me feel for the gunslinger and the mom a lot more. I've heard this before, so I clean the wax out of my ear with a toothpick, and my silver Colt, still in the holster on the table next to me, just out of reach. I rock my chair back on two legs. So is he really thinking about killing his mom? Is he really? His mom. This seems a bit evil. Maybe he's consider giving some to let us know his intentions. I'll give you an example. It's just and I'm a silver Colt. I wish, suggesting if I could only get my hand, I could just cause enough distraction to keep her off me. Maybe I could get to the docks in time. The San Francisco docks. Just hope she doesn't follow me to China. Oh, that shuts him right up. Ain't nobody dumb enough to take on the dog of the West. Well, except this lady of the church. So what, then? I say it's all for more time because I still can get me fixing to kill me. Fire your soul up even more. It's my duty. How's that? Did God tell you to go shooting up folk for the heck of it? You killed every last man in the town over, Jimmy. Good children depended on their protection. Now they're all going to be sold to the tunnels. It won't last a week down there. I shrugged my shoulders and stretched my arms behind me. The movement caused her to panic and pulled a hammer on her pistol like cleared my throat. I don't reckon it really bothers me if I'm being truly honest. She sucks in her breath and sets a finger on the trigger. Feel a trickle of sweat slide down my brow. Easy there, old gal. You don't want to get bloodied. It can really change a person, trust me. The damn priest should have kept his hands to himself. Oh, how things would have been different if I hadn't had that potato peeler in my boot. What? So is he abused? This thought is interesting, but give us a little connecting tissue here. Why does this thought come up for the gunslinger? What triggers it? You know, she looked just like that old priest, whatever. We just need a little trigger into that thought, or else it's going to feel out of the blue. Ma's hands are shaking like she's been possessed. I don't want to, Jimmy, but I have to. I'm responsible. You're not the sweet little boy I cared for, not anymore. I don't know if you ever were. She gets a hard glint in her eye, and I know she needs business. Flick my hand quick-like and snatch the Colt. Gleam of the barrel is aimed straight for her eyes before she can utter amen. Let's see who's faster, ask. A gunslinger or none? Not in my bar, you won't, interrupts the same lovely lady. I just head over my unmentionables. Ma and I snap our heads to see Leela's tiny revolver switching between the both of us. Broth will to give us a chance to take it outside. Doesn't give us one to lower up, and she shoots both of us so fast I don't even see her gun move. Ma shoots and holds her left. Damn it, Leela, I holler. Now the two of you are gonna quiet down and have a drink, or I'm taking aim at something a little more permanent. No moves for a long moment. The two possums meeting up over another day, Jimmy. I swear it on his name. Ma cradles her hand to her bosom like a sickly. I really like this concept. So I think this is a really great story with a lot of potential. Really like this, like eternal mom, nun mom and evil gunslinger conflict. I think this is a great concept. I think could use a little work in how you set up the scene. Build me some more of the view. Leela kind of comes in a little late. I didn't remember she was in the room. I didn't remember she was in the room. Perhaps describe her putting on an act and, crying after he threw her off, only to have her kick their butts, So I would, remember to bring your scene in. I think the biggest thing I'm missing in this story is those little pauses, or even those bigger pauses that give us, I was sitting in a big old iron bathtub, whatever that was. I feel like those little bits of detail that can just color a story are missing, but that's okay because this is an early draft, and that's always what's missing in early drafts. Ma cradles her injured hand to her bosom like a sickly babe and slogs out the back doors into the night. I make sure she's truly gone before I turn to Leela. Well, you heard the holy old bra. I ain't got much living left to do, so you better bring your sweet tits back over here with the stiffest bourbon you got. I put some of the Dog of the West in my voice and ad, and it better be on the house. I ain't holding up that bank in Galveston for another few months now because of this crippled hand. I like this ending, but I feel like the strongest emotional moment is the relationship between him and his mom. What if they call a truce, have a drink for a few minutes, then both go their way? ending on, you know, the bar lady feels like ending on the less poignant emotion, less poignant relationship in the story. So I really think you had a great thing going with the mom and the gunslinger. Stick with that. You know, I like that you kind of have a little joke of changing gears there, but maybe there's a better emotional beat at the end to end with by bringing it to the real relationship in the story, bringing it to the mom and the gunslinger. All right, guys, that is my stream for tonight. This was an hour and 47 minutes, so that was a good one. I am pooped. Final Boss has been bossed out today. I've literally streamed for probably like 7 or 8 hours today, so I'm cooked. Take it easy, y'all. I'm going to go watch some British baking show on Netflix and enjoy myself thoroughly. Take care, everybody. Happy writing. Great work, 667's. You did a really fantastic job in your outline. I think it's got a lot of potential. And same to you, Darkness. This was a really fun concept. And it was just the right little, fun little punch in the jaw of comedy. Thank you, guys. And good seeing you again, Silent Willow. Always, I think you're up next, I believe. The 2 different versions you sent me, like, literally had to be a year ago. But I have your Dark Testament New and Dark Testament Old. You sent them 6/9/17. Wow, it's been a while. But yeah, those will be up next. I'll go ahead and find someone to host, so fear not. Are those yours, or maybe am I thinking of somebody's? I think you wrote the Dark Testaments, right? Am I right? I'm probably wrong. I'll send you guys over to Majin Buu. He's always the easy one. Alright, so we're heading over here next. We've moved on. Oh, don't fret it, we've moved on. Well, let me know if you would like to... yeah, I wrote them. Well, if you would like me to edit them and do the comparison, let me know. If you have something new you would like me to edit, feel free to... You're next on the list, so feel free to send it, and that'll be the next thing we read on Final Boss. So send over your stuff. If you want me to read those two, great. You know, fantastic. But if you have something new and exciting, great. Fantastic. Anyways, guys, so much, so appreciative of all your all's continued support, and have a great, great night.